Did you know that bringing a lawsuit is a lot like being in the boxing ring with another boxer? You didn't know that? Come join me on this brief walk as I explain to you why I think that analogy is so important. Hi, I'm Gerry Oginsski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury attorney. Imagine in the boxing ring you have two boxers, one of whom is just standing still and getting hit repeatedly over and over and over again. Does that ever happen? No, that never happens. Instead, what happens? You have two boxers in the ring, their hands are up, and now somebody throws the first punch. And in response to that first punch, what does the other boxer do? He now tries to slip it. He tries to weave. He tries to bob. He tries to duck or roll or do something. And at the same time, while he's evading the punch, what does he then do? He now answers that punch by punching himself. Maybe he throws a right cross. Maybe he ducks. Maybe he does an uppercut. Maybe he throws a hook. He does something to answer that first punch. And that's how this type of boxing match works. Somebody throws a punch, someone tries to evade it, to get around it, to slip it, and now you have to answer that punch. The same exact thing happens in a lawsuit. So when you bring a lawsuit, you are now throwing the first punch against the people that you are suing, who you believe were careless, causing you significant harm and injury. In response, the defense turns around, and what they try and do is they now do the same thing. They try and bob that punch. They try and weave. They try and roll. They try and duck. And then they're going to throw their own counterpunch. And now you're going to wonder, I don't understand. How are they claiming that I'm responsible for my own injuries? That, my friend, is a counterpunch. So typically what happens, and let's say it's a medical malpractice case, where you've sued your doctor claiming that he was careless, he violated the basic standards of medical care, causing you harm and injury. One of the first things the defense does is they say, listen, why are you suing us? I did nothing wrong here. And by the way, even if I did something wrong, so did you, Mr. Patient. Now, when they put the blame on you, that's a counterpunch. And now when he says, hey, why are you suing me? I did nothing wrong. That's really a parry. He's trying to parry the allegations and say, get it away from me. Don't come near me. Instead, you're the one who caused your own injuries. Boom, right in the face. That's a very powerful counterpunch, where now he's arguing that you caused your own injuries. And you know what? That may be possible. It may be true, or at least it may have some truth to it, but you don't know that yet. Then the next type of knee-jerk reaction, a defense that they raise, is they say, hey, listen, I did nothing wrong, but if I did something wrong, so did you, Mr. Patient. And then they say, if I did something wrong, whatever I did didn't cause or contribute to your injuries. Again, that's another parry trying to get the allegations away from them. And then the doctor says, okay, if I did something wrong and I caused you harm, guess what? Your injuries really aren't as bad as you claim them to be. Whew, that punch just went right by his ear, and now he's trying to get it away. Same exact concept. Okay, so I'm using this boxing analogy to show you that nobody is going to stand there and take it on the chin. Not a boxer, and not the defense when you bring a lawsuit seeking money as a form of compensation for all the injuries and the harms and losses you suffered because of someone else's carelessness. So the defense is going to do everything in their power during the entire lawsuit process to either delay your case, to try and slip the allegations, to try and defer the allegations, to try and claim that they did not do anything, or if they did, somebody else did instead. It might be you, it might be somebody else who also contributed to your injuries or cared for you or was part of the event. They want to try and brush off all of their responsibility on somebody else. That's what a good fighter does. They're going to go ahead and slip and bob and weave and roll and duck and now start throwing their counter punches. And now you're saying, I don't understand. I have a great case. Why are they doing this? Why don't they just hold their hands up and take it on the chin, accept responsibility, and get out of this case and end it? Because that's not what the defense does. And now they're going to do everything possible to try and minimize the effectiveness of your punches. And in fact, they're going to try and get your case thrown out, which is analogous to one boxer telling the referee, hey, judge. And now one boxer, now using the boxing analogy, one boxer may turn to the referee and say, hey, ref, this guy's being unfair. You should throw him out and I should get a default and an automatic win. That's exactly what they'll try and do in your lawsuit. And there are times when the defense turns around and asks the judge to throw your case out on a motion for summary judgment. And that's something else we have to deal with. But again, just like a boxer, they're trying to evade and slip and parry and get this down. They're protecting their face at the same time so that they don't have to accept responsibility. And now comes the counter punches. Throw your case out, get it dismissed, get it delayed. So why am I sharing this great information with you? I'm sharing it with you because I was watching a boxing match the other night on YouTube, and I thought, you know what, how appropriate this is in the lawsuit process to understand how these types of cases work. You know, I realize you likely have questions or concerns about your own matter. Well, even if you don't follow boxing, the concepts are the same. And the concepts are, you have to understand that there's no straight path from the time you start your lawsuit to the time you get your result and get money in your pocket. There's no guarantee you'll get there. And the defense will do everything possible to prevent you from getting there. And this hopefully opens your eyes to realize there's no straight path. You have to zig, you have to zag, you have to maneuver, you have to outmaneuver your opponent, and you have to protect yourself so that now, as you go through the lawsuit process, you have a better understanding of how these types of cases work. You know, I realize you might have questions or concerns about your own matter. Well, if your matter did happen in New York, but you have not yet started a lawsuit and are thinking of doing so because you still have questions that need to be answered, what I invite you to do is pick up the phone and call me. You know, I answer questions like yours every single day, and I'd love to talk to you. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at Gerry, Gerry, at Oginski-law.com. That's it for today's video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Have a wonderful day.